Jones Bones. It is your girl, Unitedly Random. And I thought today that I'd talk about an idea that keeps being thrown around, especially in regards to your girl, Unitedly Random. Now, I want to preface this by saying that it's not just, people on the internet saying it. I've had people tell me pretty much over the years to kind of, in general, what is this on my lip? To kind of get over it in a way, okay? And again, this is not just brought up because someone said it on the internet in one of my videos in the past. No. And if you're the person that said it, no, this is something that I hear a lot. And so I wanted to kind of communicate my point of view with the idea of telling someone in their process of healing that they need to either speed it up or try to do something that is kind of opposed to actually healing, right? And we're gonna talk about that right after this intro.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
And we are back. So I was on, now I had to pull the cap up a little bit more, but I was on TikTok and I was on YouTube, and we're getting ready because New Year, not New Year's, but full moon is coming. That's the time of new beginnings anyway. And I was listening to them and they were talking about how sometimes doing shadow work is not plausible for self-preservation. And I recognize that. But in my case, I had to do the shadow work. Like, it was very much ingrained in me that I can't let this go. I'm an overthinker, ADHD. I hyper focus on things, right? I go into a trance and I hyper focus on things. All of these combine to be, if I don't let it out, it's something that sits and festers. Now, I think some people can pretty much walk away from a wound and it'll slowly heal over time. Mine did not do no such a thing. So when I get the messages that are kind of like, oh, just focus on the good things and stuff like that, I have been living this life. So far, I'm 25 years old, okay, right? So I've been living this life and dealing with the traumas that happened to me as a child for a whole decade. And I don't know if okay, so here's the thing. That entire decade, I pretty much was avoiding it. That entire decade, I wasn't dealing with it. I was looking at the brighter picture and I was looking for an escape, right? For an entire decade, and it was a little bit more than an entire decade, but really for 10 years, I wasn't telling people about what was happening at home. I just held it all in and I tried to look at the better picture of things. And I know that you guys can't necessarily see that now because now I'm an adult. I'm adult Leah talking to you, and I've already started my healing process, and that's the important thing. When I was young, from pretty much, because it happened when I was a little kid, but from pretty much my entire life, so from 1 all the way up till about 20, I could never speak to anyone about the things that happened to my life, and I just held on to it, okay? And I didn't have a therapist that I could really speak to. Even though my mom took me to a therapist before, she would threaten me to not talk about what's going on in the household. So I really didn't have anyone to trust or to speak to. Even if I tried to turn to my mom, no one to trust or speak to, right? So when people say just kind of look at the brighter picture and look at this and look at that, that's what I did for so long until I got into my adulthood and I really realized that things weren't going to change. Now you guys can see that in my trauma timeline. The abuse and whatnot that my mom gave me when I was a child is not necessarily the things that I'm really hurt about now. I'm hurt about what she said to me and done to me and how she made me feel as an adult. And that's what I'm really, if you look at my last trauma timeline video, I'm very angry. And it's not about what she did to me as a child, it's what she did to me as an adult. Because in some ways, I have already internalized what she did to me as a child. It's not good, but it's not the type of stuff that will make me, sad or depressed anymore because it's already happened. Do I think that she should have been coming into the shower while I was showering and beating me with belts? No, but it happened, right? And so like I internalized that, and now I'm just thinking, okay, I want to be a better person and I don't want to do that to my kids, right? And so a part of my healing journey and a part of how I feel about healing is you have to confront the bad ookie gookie stuff, okay? And for me, it just felt like I had to confront the bad ookie gookie stuff, because in the Black community, Black women are already getting we already get so much. Okay, so we take what we get in the Black community as a woman, and then we take what we get from our parents and from Black women who are in our lives, and we become projections of our experiences, right? As a Black woman, I was sexualized a lot. This is something that happens very often in the Black community. You know, there's research is done that people will see white baby dolls as more innocent than Black baby dolls. That is just a reflection of society. You feel me? People will see Black women as less innocent as white women. And as a Black woman who is stacked up, you know, the big boobs, you know, bigger woman, people will see me as more powerful than I actually am. So people will continue to try the power that I have. As a bigger woman, people will come and they will harass me because they see me as a big woman, and they're like, if she doesn't like it, she'll fight about it, you know? They have this preconception of how a Black woman is. And so if you are a Black woman and you are more feminine, or you are a Black woman and you are not as forceful as society wants you to be, as society tries to paint about Black women, you are then either marginalized or you are then becoming a prey. So if I come on here and I act all get out, okay? Which, the thing is, I code switch, so I can be a little retarded, but not in the way that you can really question my intelligence. I really want to put that out there. I do have a certain level of intelligence, okay? But if I come here and I'm like really loud and I'm retarded for the day, not necessarily a image that I'm just putting out there to portray, but sometimes I'm in that mood. I'm in that crazy, goofy mood. It's still not me 100% of the time, and it's still not, I don't know how to explain it, but because of preconceptions, you might see me and think, oh my goodness, she's so loud and this and this and that. And I can be loud, but I wouldn't attribute my loudness to being a Black woman. I would attribute it to ADHD, or sometimes I'm just really hype, right? But in some cases, like, I've had people on the internet tell me that I'm so ratchet, I'm so ghetto, and they would start to call me like names that kind of insult my intelligence just because they saw that my profile picture was a Black woman. You're so antagonistic. And it's just like, I'm not antagonistic, but I'm also standing up for what I believe in. So like, if a male did this, it was like, oh yeah, you make some points. But if a female does it, oh, you're such a bitch, right? And if a Black woman does it, you're so antagonistic, okay? So it's like those things are coming together. But here's the thing, because I went on a ramble, ADHD. I went on a ramble, but the thing is, I lived this life for 20 years. And so now that you guys are being open to it, I literally just really opened up about my trauma on my channel like the last few months. Like, I've been opening up piece by piece by piece, but really, hey, I'm an open book, right? I just opened up my book the last few months. Really started in like 2021. I was like, I'm not going to continue to take this with me. It's going into 2022. So 2-3 years out of having a childhood of issues that I could never speak about, never communicate with other people. I was alone. Completely and utterly alone, and I had no one to look to. I had no one to really hash it out inside of me. And I grew up in this toxic environment of holding it all in and looking for the brighter picture, looking for the better thing. Okay, when I grow up, I'm gonna leave and I don't have to be in this environment anymore. But the world isn't necessarily an environment where you can be that 100% individual. money, you gotta make it. Work, you gotta do it. Things, I cannot become my 100% individual. I cannot 100% heal myself. I'm tired from work. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Society is not a society in which you can actually work on healing yourself. Because to truly heal yourself, you would need to have access to therapists. You would need to have access to a sort of supportive community. You need to have access to all of these things that I'm not necessarily at access to. And I recognize to not do that shadow work, to not go back and look at your childhood, is a form of self-privation. But I'm not trying to save myself anymore. You know, I was self-pervading myself, you know, like, look, words hard, it's in the morning. But I was holding myself back for 20 years. I was doing that. And what happened was I got to the point where I was going to off myself. I had plans and I was going to do it. So obviously for me, if I'm going to get to the point where I feel so bad that I'm ready to take myself out of this world, I might as well just go ahead and start my healing journey. I might as well just go through the hard things of childhood that I was avoiding, because that was the worst I could be. Holding it all in was at the worst point that I could be in. And when people hear about my story, they're like, oh yeah, but at least this and at least that. It's like, I don't think you're really recognizing that you're speaking to someone that was holding it in for 20 years. I don't think you're recognizing that you're speaking to someone that just found her voice, and you're telling them to diminish their voice. I think that people have their own personal experiences that they're going through, and I think a lot of the times it is projection, and I recognize it as being projection when people are like, well, you got to do this or you got to do that. You're just thinking about how to make your life better. But for me, having lived this life and having gone through that journey of actually going through and taking the bad and actually slowly healing the bad, I know that I am going to be in a place in the future where this does not affect me anymore. I am moving on to that point, but I am still very young. And I think that some people kind of forget that. Some people kind of don't process that when they're giving me the advice. You have that advice. You've been living for how many years? I've been living for 25, and only for about the last, not even 5 years, for the last 4 years. 3 years, I've actually been healing myself. My 3-year anniversary, actually, yes, 3 year. My 3-year anniversary of going to the mental hospital just passed. And within those 3 years, I have been trying to remain I've been full-time working. I've been trying to finish school. There's all of these distractions that come up in my life that I can't necessarily, okay, here, I'm working on this all the time. No, you can't do that. Life has so many distractions. So when I step in front of the camera, when I step in front of the YouTube or the ticky-tack and I say, hey, it's okay to share your story, I mean it. My mom literally shared the same story for years and years and years about her. Her mom did not want her, and how she said she was going to take her to New York and leave her. My mom shares that story for years and years and years because that story hurts her to the day. She will not be able to forget that story. She will not be able to move past that story. And she just keeps saying the exact same thing. And the pain never wanes at all. I'm not my mom. When I share my story, the hurt is there, the feeling is there and whatnot, but like to hit me with think about her side of the story. I was thinking about her side of the story for 20 years. This is my side of the story now. You know, I am still but a child, okay? Like, I don't know why it's a little bit harder for people to understand. Like, you see me grow up in my body, but like, I'm still a child. I wasn't taught to emotionally regulate myself and these things that people are supposedly taught while they're growing up. I grew up in a flawed household. And so the things that I should be doing, the places that I should be, I'm not necessarily there. And I think that people kind of get stuck on how honestly successful I am. Like, I know that seems like a flex, but I am very successful. I went all the way to South Korea for a year. I graduated high school. People get stuck on the paper, but they don't really understand the me behind the paper. You get stuck on the image. Oh, she's 25 and she's done a lot, but you don't really see me behind the image. Between all of those things, I was struggling. Between all of those things, I didn't one day was like, yes, I'm going to off myself. That was something that I held with me from 5th grade. 5th grade, I held that idea that one day I was going to take myself out of this world. It didn't magically occur. So while I was being successful, while I was getting those A's, while I was getting things done and making friends and I also had this mindset that people didn't really like me. Why? My childhood. I had this mindset that people didn't really care about me. Why? My childhood. And so why people are seeing me smiling and laughing, they're like, Alia, she's very engaging. Alia, she's such a friend. None of those people were really my friends. In my head, at least. And so it's like, I'm being honest with you guys. I'm being open with you guys. And I'm really, at this point, being someone who loves to share her story, loves to share her own voice. I'm actually stepping into doing it in a way that I didn't really think was really possible for me. And I'm doing it, and I'm being hit with setback. But at the end of the day, I have to listen to myself. I wouldn't want to do it so badly if it wasn't meant to be done. And for some people out there, I want you to recognize that in some cases, what you're telling me is to run away from the pain. And the thing is, I can't run away from the pain because I did it for about 20 years and look where I am now. When I actually started to heal myself, actually started to confront the painful histories and the pain, I got to the point where I don't feel depressed anymore. I got to the point where I feel so powerful. If I never started this journey, where the hell would I be right now? Because before I started this journey, I was about to myself. And I don't think you guys are realizing how how honest I am with you guys. I was in a ball of despair and I did not want to go anywhere else. It was over for me. I couldn't imagine it being better. 3 years later, look at me now. I have a loving husband. I have support, and I think that's really what I needed all along. I just needed support. I just needed love. All along, I just needed stability. And look at me now. I got the support. I got the love. I got the stability, and I am thriving. I am succeeding, and people are looking at my success, and they're like, why don't you just enjoy the success? Why are you still bringing up the past? And the only way I can really say it is the only reason that I can actually be successful now is because I healed the blockages that were keeping me from being successful. I am an amazing being. Amazing. I'm just amazing, okay? I am going to achieve so many things, right? It's in the stars. It's in the stars. I am going to be what people don't expect of me, okay? It's in the stars. I am a great person. Everyone's great persons, okay? And every day I get better. Every day I'm growing. Every day, zoom, 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 zoom. You know, like this is a real smile. You guys don't understand. I couldn't smile like this 3 years ago. I couldn't smile like this in my childhood because it was tainted. Every second I was alive was tainted by the moments before that. I couldn't have real friends. And now I don't want real friends. I'm just kidding. But I'm still growing, and like people want attention from me, and then I just can't give it to them all the time, because like really I gotta take care of my cup first. And if I pour my cup into other cups too much, I get drained, and then I don't continue on my path that I want to be on, right? So I gotta learn that balance. Okay? And I'm not really doing too good at it, but damn, am I doing good in life though. Yeah, you did that. I was thinking about a TikTok song, so yeah, I know we're doing great on TikTok. 15,000 people subbing to me. Woo! 15,000, hey. 15,000, hey. 15,000, hey. Woo! 15,000, hey. 15,000, hey. Over 5,555 people are watching YouTube. At least subscribe. They're not watching it all. I'd be overwhelmed. I'd be flabbergasted. I'd be amazed if people were starting to watch my videos like that in droves. I'm like, oh my gosh. But like, I think the best thing for me right now is to continue the path that I feel instinctively I need to do. Because I've always felt like I needed to do this. I've always felt like I needed to be this person. And now to see myself becoming that person, like, wow. Wow. My thing is, if you need therapy, go and get your therapy. If you need to run and hide, do it. If you need to take some time, take all your time. But remember that you gotta take care of you. Anyway, but yes, get you some stability. Join a group. Join a church, okay? I'm not going to a church, but you could probably go to a church. Find your community. And once you find your community, you actually begin to heal, okay? Because I found my community. I found myself, and I started listening to myself. And myself said, girl, finally you listening to me. Finally, because you thought you had it. That's what myself said to me. You thought you had it. You thought you had control, and you was losing it. But here you go. I'm ready. We're going to go ahead and do it, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and do it. Because, you know, I belong in this world. Just as much as my mother, my brother, or anyone who ever hurt me belongs in this world. And I am a star just as much as Oprah. Everyone has the ability, the agility, the power within themselves. And I'm just unlocking it. You see, the things that have happened into your life can act as blockages, even if you're not aware of them. Blockages to your blessings. You feel me? My childhood acted as a blocking to my blessings, okay? I was too much my mama. I was too much my past. I was too much my pain to actually start to heal, to actually open myself up to the blessings that the universe has bestowed upon me. You feel me? So now that I actually sat back and I worked on me, now that I'm still working on me, because here's the thing. What they don't tell you is a healing journey is a journey for the rest of your life. You're always going to have to work on it. You're always going to have to work on it. You want to keep getting better. You want to keep growing. You want to keep, it's not, oh yeah, I'm going to do it for this year. And then, okay, well, I feel healed. And then you move on. No, because what happens to you in your childhood, that carved you. Okay. And you can drape something over and you can be like, okay, but I think to a certain extent, you go back to your initial carving. It's nature and nurture will really fuck your ass up. You feel me? And so if your nurture wasn't nurturing in the ways that you needed, okay, because somebody, like, pause for a second, because you could be like, well, someone else had a worse life than me. Okay, they're not you. Or someone, like it's like the comparison games, like, what of it? Okay, you know what I mean? It's your life. Are you hurt? Ask yourself that question. And if you're hurt, it's not, well, they tried their best. No, you're hurt. Okay? Okay, they tried their best, and what? That doesn't change that the childhood you was hurt. That doesn't change that there's a part of you that is still hurt about that situation. It doesn't change anything. I'm just saying that was me for 20 years. Everybody will tell me, "Oh, you're like I used to get a lot of compliments from people. Oh, you're so wise and da 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 and this and this and that." And it's just like I've been inside my head for so long that I have a lot of answers. I just wasn't listening to myself. So now I'm listening to myself. And let me tell you, I got some good answers. Good answers, Steve. Good answers. ADHD. I'm blaming it on that, but like, come on. If you don't hear good answers and immediately think of Family Feud, which I would like to watch pretty soon. Anyway, if you don't like, come on. Come on. We're vibing. I haven't even washed this stuff off my face. Give me a second. You know, one of the things I noticed about myself is I don't feel as hungry anymore. Like, I still have moments where I am uncontrollably hungry. I just want to eat something. But now I also have moments where I feel like I can stop eating and walk away from this plate of food. I'm healing in ways that I didn't even expect. Did I start this healing journey talking about my childhood thinking it was going to make me super skinny? No. But being able to put the plate down and walk away is gonna do something for you, girl. Ew. And also, I don't really care about being skinny too. My thing is just really appreciating my body in whatever stage it is in, right? And I'm appreciating it. I'm loving it. Da 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 da. Anyway, that was all to say that I went around let me make sure this ain't about to turn off, but I ran around the park for a little while. But this is all to say that at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta stop judging other people's healing journeys and just focus on your own. Just focus on your own healing journey. And through me healing myself and also me being public about healing myself, I think I heal more people than telling someone to just move on. Because it doesn't work like that sometimes. Sometimes you gotta listen to yourself. And when I started listening to myself, I found freedom, I found love, and I found joy. And if yourself is telling you I can't do that because that's not the path meant for me, I say listen to yourself. But if you have the feeling, if you have the pull to do it like me, maybe listen to yourself. Maybe there's an answer that you've always been looking for, but you weren't ready to hear. So at this point, I have done my morning routine, and I'm gonna go ahead and brush my teeth off camera, take care of myself. I've really been brushing my teeth off camera. I've been taking care of myself, you guys. I'm so proud. I'm moving, yes. I'm moving. I'm growing. Real smile right here. But yeah, much love and positive vibes. I hope to see you guys again next time. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And also, I'm kind of sorry that like my videos just be talking about, they just go randomly, okay? And like, I know that some people might not get this message, but you know what? I just believe that whoever heard this message was meant to have this message. Boom, bam. Thank you.